Welcome back to the Celtics Nation Rise podcast, episode 88. I'm your host, Griffin Aldrich. Alongside me, we got my two great co hosts, Andrew Quinn and David Caires. And we are back. Celtics lose to the Denver Nuggets last night, but on this West Coast trip, after you look at the entirety of coming back from All-Star break, the Boston Celtics have been on a tear, went 3-1 in that stretch. It sucks because we are on such a high note. You beat the Warriors, you beat the Lakers, you beat the Suns. You're looking very high, but then last night I feel like it was a punch in the gut because David will mention it in a second, but also we talked about it on the night before on a back to back. It's kind of a game that you want to see the Celtics win, and it's a big win for the Celtics, but did end up losing to the Nuggets. However, how are you guys feeling about this previous week? Andrew, we'll start off with you and go to David. I thought it was a pretty good week, though. But what are your guys' thoughts?
Yeah, I think this is a very, very good week. The Celtics are really finding their rhythm and they came out strong out of the All-Star break. They're slowly finding ways to get Nikola Vucevic assimilated into this rotation. And you're having guys like Baylor Shireman and Pritchard have career nights and just continue to find ways to make an impact. So I talked about on the recap a couple of days ago, a couple of games ago, just how this team is so versatile. There's so many guys you can go to that can make an impact. And if it's not Derek White having a good night, it's Peyton Pritchard. If it's not Peyton Pritchard, it's Baylor Shireman. I mean, there's a lot of plug and play options with this team that gives you the ability to really create mismatches and really give teams different looks and wear them down. So I think this team has shown that as of late. Obviously, tough loss against the Nuggets, a team you definitely want to beat on a back-to-back. I'd like to see the record of our record against top teams. I'm not sure where it's at. I think the Pistons have got us a couple times. So of the Nuggets too. And so I definitely want to see us continue to make statement wins rather than just these kind of wins that we should be getting. But tough loss, obviously. And right now I'm taking this team in 7 in any game, in any series. No, I'm just kidding. But majority, I'm taking this team.
Yeah, for me, I think the fear not only with the Celtics but with any of the teams that I like is after the All-Star break suffering from what I call an All-Star break hangover or a start to the second half hangover.
Especially the way Jaylen Brown shot in that All-Star game.
Very, very true. Luckily, the Celtics did not suffer from that. I thought this was a very good trip. We have been probably I don't know how it looks after how last night's game went, but heading into last night's game, we were the best defensive team in the NBA over the last 11 games, a top 3 team across the last 15, 16 games. So really, that's something I've honestly come on this program a ton and said that I've wanted to hold them accountable for. The Celtics is just getting better with their defense. I mean, obviously, this season has been a pleasant surprise, but no one's fault at all. We all knew the defensive personnel was going to drop off with all the players we lost, but I thought that needed to be better. And the Celtics are shutting me up, especially over these last few games. I mean, we gave up 110 points to the Warriors in that first game after the break, but I mean, a lot of that they made up for in garbage time in the fourth quarter. We held the Lakers this past Sunday night to 89 points. A couple nights ago, the Suns to 81. And the Nuggets hit the century mark last night, but it was only 103 points. Really, just every game, maybe besides the one last night. So I'm just going to focus on the wins because I want to stay positive. But in all the wins, the Celtics had like quarters and a half of like pure dominance. Where I was just rewatching the Celtics Suns game this morning. We ended that game on a 67. I'm serious. A 67. Comeback. 67 to 40 run, and it would have been a lot more lopsided. But the Suns had a crazy run, or not crazy run, but the Suns had a bit of a run to start that fourth quarter. We're clicking on all cylinders right now. Vucevic is getting, as Andrew alluded to, part of the mix. He's getting more comfortable with every game he's playing, settling into his role off the bench. Peyton Pritchard, I mean, maybe they should remake the rules for sixth man of the year. I mean, Pritchard's probably going to have 30 games off the bench, but what he does in 30 may, trump whatever anyone else does in a whole 80 game slate off the bench. I mean, want to talk about a team player. And obviously the elephant in the room, which we'll talk about later, is the potential return of Jayson Tatum in the coming month. So lots to be happy about the Celtics right now. And this was a very good trip. I mean, obviously the other elephant in the room is that the Nuggets killed our chances last night of hitting 40 wins before 20 losses. That is a bit of a killer statistic if you're into things like that, like I am. 40 of the last 44 NBA champions, aka 91% of the last 44 NBA champions, have reached the 40-win mark before they've hit 20 losses. So the fact that the Celtics weren't able to do that is a bit of an incriminating statistic, but there have been some teams, especially one in recent memory, that have hit 20 losses before 40 wins. Obviously, it's a bit of a shortened season, but the Milwaukee Bucks in 2021, the post-bubble season, fall into this criteria. Before that, in an 82-game slate, the 2006 Miami Heat also fall into this criteria. So, it hurts losing last night if you're worried, if you're, thinking about championship aspirations in June for the Celtics this season. But, that's the great thing about sports is you got to play it out. So there's still 25-ish games left, 24 games left, and hopefully a deep playoff run for the Celtics to beat the odds.
Beat the odds
there.
Yeah, there you go.
And it always could happen. I mean, geez, like you mentioned a couple teams there, David, and I'm sure last year the Indiana Pacers weren't even in that realm. Obviously, they didn't win the championship, but like they were one game away, and I'm sure that I don't think at least right because their run was like kind of a Cinderella run, right, last year.
Definitely.
Right. Yeah. We'll have to say it's not over. I mean, it's definitely not over. What am I saying?
We're gonna get into it too, but as David alluded to, the elephant in the room. It's a big elephant in the room. I mean, Matt, it's huge.
Let's go to it because I think you guys want to hear it. I think you guys want to talk about it. Let's go. Jayson Tatum, 5-on-5 scrimmaging, and David, I have to say, before I heard a bunch of news outlets talking about the Tatum return date, and obviously we see the one being March 1st against the Philadelphia 76ers.
Which is coming very soon. Very, very soon.
Gave his bet, the Hornets on the 4th. Who knows? Maybe that could be it. But I'm just saying, like, David, for the fact that you being so close with that, and, like, I didn't hear any other news outlet talk about it. David may have hit the lottery mark around the time. So
you're pretty dead spot on.
Well, yeah.
If it all goes according to plan.
If this happens, I don't want any kudos or anything. I don't even care if people are going to give me credit. I know no one's going to give me credit online, even though they should. But one thing I'll ask for from you two guys, if he returns on March 4th against the Charlotte Hornets, I can make unlimited 6-7 jokes on this program without getting bleeped.
I'm putting my hand out, dude. I'm extending the hand.
You heard it here first. That agreement is put in place. Griffin is.
I mean, you already make them anyways.
You're right on that one. But
hey, at this point, David, we love it.
Can I also I want to take a quick second here. I'm kind of breaking the multiverse with this, but my favorite TV show came back last night, Survivor. I don't know if anyone here watches that or if anyone in the comments watches it. Survivor 50. It's the 50th season of the show. The show's been on for 25 years. It's crazy. I know.
I thought you were going to say Scrubs.
That is on my DVR. I got to watch that. And, the guy who was the actor in Scrubs played Whit Grousbeck in a sitcom a couple years ago. That's another.
Did you really?
Yeah, it was. I'm
That's
serious.
hilarious. There you go. The more you know.
It was called Extended Family on NBC. It was a sitcom based on Whit Grousbeck's extended family, where him and his wife are best friends with his wife's ex-husband, and they take turns moving in and out of this apartment where their kids live full time. So they said, we don't want the kids to suffer in the divorce. We're going to move in and out. So Wick and his wife move in and out, and then this their biological father moves in and out as well, and they're all like besties. Like it's like an extended family. It's
And this is big. He produced it. That he like.
He was
like, oh, let's make this.
And he shot the pilot episode during the finals in 2022 against the Warriors, and then it got
wow. Maybe that's why he lost. Dude should have been locked in.
Right, come on, Wick. Really, to wrap this back up, though, a player last night got medically evacuated from Survivor, and he ruptured his Achilles. And this show, this season, was filmed like 3 weeks after this happened with Tatum, and like maybe 2 weeks before what happened to Halliburton. So like the summer of 2025 was just full of these athletes just rupturing their Achilles. It's just
it was not a good time to have a weak Achilles.
Right.
No, so that's ironic.
I don't want to get into that because I think it's a topic for another time, and it's a long drawn out conversation, but those Achilles tears, like there's got to be some. I'm no doctor, and I don't want to speak on that, but there has to be some sort of pattern that is developing, and potentially the way they're training or the wear and tear that goes into NBA seasons and just the speed, the pace of play that they're at. I don't want to go into it right now, as I said, but it's definitely something interesting to discuss.
No, without a doubt. But I want to say really quick on Tatum's behalf. Well, just speaking about it, we talked all like right before All-Star break about him being assigned to the G League, and now he's on 5-on-5 scrimmaging. So Tatum, I have a message for you. You can't keep telling the media if I come back this season. You're coming back this season. We all know and love that. I mean, there's still a chance, but 5-on-5 scrimmaging, he's coming back. I mean, we saw pictures of him in the Celtics practice a couple days ago. So he can be back.
We've had direct reports. I mean, we've had, other people obviously telling us. Evans was telling us he looks great in that practice. Like there's a lot of people that have. What did he say?
He said he looked like Jayson Tatum. Like, I mean, he said he hasn't skipped a beat. I mean, it's right there.
I said it earlier. I said it when he went down around this time, or not around this time, but when he went down with his Achilles. I was honestly saying it. There's potential that he does come back a better basketball player, stronger, more mentally hardened, understands kind of who he is as a person, appreciates the game of basketball even more than he did. Like there is a positive outlook that could come from this. I would not just sit here and think that he's going to digress. Like I think there's potential that he comes back even better than he was. I really mean that.
Because there was a mental battle he struggled with during this too. And like you have to think he's not going to come back till he feels he's where he left off or better than he left off. That's what I just think. But what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a different version of Tatum. That's what I'm predicting. I don't know if he's gonna go down the Kevin Durant route, where obviously with KD it happened when he was in his early 30s. But I mean, post KD Achilles, he's been just more of a perimeter shooter, not driving as much, but he's honed in on that talent of becoming a efficient shooter rather than a driver. And obviously KD has still been incredible in this back half of his career. So I don't know if Tatum's going to go down that route, or the fact that this happened when he was 5 years younger than KD maybe I mean, I think all this just comes up to him and what he's comfortable doing.
Mhm.
I think this is going to be maybe a teaser of how Tatum is going to play the rest of his career. These next like 20-ish games, whatever audition we get from Tatum this season is going to really come into play next season when he's back opening day in 2026. So, 6 months from now. Anything we can get from Tatum now the rest of the season is a blessing. I don't know what to expect. It's like we get these little like teasers here and there of him running drills and it gets you all fired up. But like, I just wish we could get some video footage of him, 5 minutes straight practicing because I don't know. I mean, we see the little nuggets they're dropping, not Denver Nuggets. I don't even want to think about Denver Nuggets. But we see the little nuggets dropping of him like driving into the paint and putting weight on that leg where he ruptured his Achilles. And it's like, all right. I mean, is that just for show? Is it really having no issues, driving again? But I don't know. I really, I'm hyped to have him come back, but I don't know what kind of player he's going to be. But you guys hit the nail on the head. Where I think at this point, yeah, it's just a mental thing.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it really is straight speculation. I mean, we could sit here all we want, and we could say, "Oh, he's going to come back even better. He's going to change his game up. He's not going to be the same as KD." But I mean, we really just don't know. I will say, I think if you see those photos, he looks strong, man. Like he looks bigger than maybe he was, and maybe that alludes to kind of where his play style is going. Maybe he's going to be more of this physical bully guy coming to the lane, trying to get to the rim. And maybe that's what they thought in their back of their mind. All right, we got to make sure that he's strong enough where he maybe doesn't have to rely on his explosion as much. And he can kind of be a little more physical with guys. I hope that's not what it is because I want to see Jayson Tatum to be the exact close to as where he was. But you have to imagine there is some evolution in this game that's going to allow him to adapt to the NBA as quick as possible.
And there's risks to like putting on weight. Like obviously it's a completely extenuating circumstances. JT is going through a severe recovery right now. But I remember thinking when Jaylen Brown showed up to media day in 2024, he put on like 15 pounds of muscle at the championship. Yeah. Like this guy looks jacked, and his shooting percentages all plummeted last year. So I don't know. It's interesting. Yeah,
I'm with you, and I don't know. And when you're in Jayson Tatum's shoes and you can't play basketball and all you can do is lift, like you're gonna want to lift, right? Like you're gonna want to do something physical. You can't use your lower body, so you're gonna want to try to push as much plates as possible. And let's just hope that him and his training staff kind of made sure to understand. All right, this is just because you're not in the right spot doesn't mean we're going to go out and just try to lift as much weight as possible. We're going to do this we're going to cross our T's or whatever the saying is. We're going to do it, and we're going to make sure we do it in the right way possible. And I think the Celtic staff have done that. There's no doubt in my mind that that's not what they've made sure to do.
Yeah, and I just want to say one thing too, and I know I'm going back into it, but I didn't have a long conversation with Evans. But when I did talk to him, he made the trip to Boston, and I said, how'd he look? And he said he looked good. He looked like Jayson Tatum. So, I mean, obviously, and it's against the G League, so obviously, like, it's going to be different. But, when you're being put into these practices and everything, like we see down below 5-on-5 scrimmaging, like he's not gonna do that. I feel like till he's 110% comfortable, because you heard obviously he's so eager to just come back. But I look at it and I mean, we could have a Jaylen Brown type thing where he puts on so much weight, like mass, but I think he's doing enough. I think he's just doing enough. I mean, we saw that thing of him deadlifting, and it didn't look like a whole ton of weight, but still something. So obviously, I think he's being more conservative on his lower half of his body as well. But I don't know. Obviously, we go on and on and on about speculations about Jayson Tatum, but go ahead, David.
One last thing. Let's on the topic of speculation. What do we think when Tatum comes back? Is it 15 minutes at most per game, and then maybe at most at any point this season 20 minutes?
Well, was it you that even said it, David? I think it was you that said it. Like, he'll start that first game, but then he'll probably come off the bench. I think that's smart. I think he'll start, probably be on a high minutes restriction, maybe like 15 to 20 minutes. That's what I'm kind of nailing out. What do you guys think, though?
Like,
yeah, I would agree.
Even if we go, sorry, even if
go. You're good.
Even if we go all the way deep into June, like Game 7 NBA Finals, I'm saying Tatum does. Me personally, I'm saying Tatum doesn't play more than 20 minutes a game. I think maybe those first couple weeks it's only 10 to 15. That first game, I think it's only going to be 15 most, maybe 10. But I think we don't see him play more than 20 minutes. And honestly, yeah, I'm going to stick to that as well. That first game, they're going to give him that moment, getting announced before the game in front of the home faithful. Yes, sir. Doing the thing in front of the scores table. Maybe he'll hit a "we did it" as well. No, he won't do that. But I think first game starting and then off the bench spark the rest of the season.
Well, you even have to think about it. Like, even Tatum coming off the bench, like we talked about, Daniel and I did last night. Like, there's so much inconsistency, and it's not anything to harp on the Celtics, but one guy will have his night, the other guy will have their night, but I feel like Tatum could totally bring consistency, at least to the bench. Like, I think he could still at least provide you 10, 15 points. And those 10, 15 points are going to mean something at the end of the day. I feel like, bringing that consistency off the bench, it will just be a great thing. It probably, let's be honest, I don't think there's no way in hell that Jayson Tatum comes out and gives us 30 a night, especially probably not.
Hey.
I mean, there's probably no way, but like, again, completely different circumstances. Like Kobe in his last game dropping 60 was like maybe one of the wildest sports experiences I've ever witnessed. And like, I did not see that coming out of like ever coming. I agree with you. It probably won't happen. It's just this whole thing is so fascinating to me. It really is. I love talking about it.
Yeah. Because
it's interesting.
Sorry, Andrew, you go after, but even 10 to 15 points would still.
Imagine one other thing, really. Imagine telling people at this time last year that in 2026, your bench for the Celtics heading into a playoff run will be Peyton Pritchard, Vucevic, and Tatum.
It's crazy.
Mind-boggling.
And I want to say this, and it's kind of funny that I can't believe I'm even going to say this. It might be worst case scenario that Jayson Tatum comes out and starts dropping 25 a game just for wear and tear. Like, I think there's a chance that he comes off the bench and he just starts pouring in points and is making such a high impact that Joe Mazzulla is going to look at Brad Stevens in the medical staff and be like, hey, I need my guy. Like, I want my guy on this court. And that's me looking at it from a very, very positive lens. But there's so many different ways to look at it. And I think there is a chance that somehow he does come back and he starts really, really dominating and they have no choice but to use him.
Yeah. You want to hear something funny? This is completely off topic, but I'm looking at the Jayson Tatum that we have underneath, and he totally pulled a Jimmy Butler, but just didn't play this season. Like, with the dreads, he had dreads for like, 5 minutes? Like,
he had to switch something up. He was bored,
You're talking about Tatum?
Yeah.
Cornrows.
He had to have some media attention, he had to do something to start the season off. He felt a little left out, so he was like, all right, let me get cornrows. I'm gonna make a little statement. And
what's the best Tatum hairstyle? Did you guys like the hairless cat buzz cut? Do you like the little bit of a lettuce on the head, or do you like this below?
I like the little bit of lettuce on the head. I think
the lettuce on the head is tough.
I think it was last year where it was like cut like very well, and then the little lettuce on the head. I think that was the best one.
I don't think you can go back. I think the buzz cut was Luke Skywalker, blue lightsaber. And then the little lettuce on the head, that's Luke Skywalker. He's the Jedi Knight, green lightsaber.
When he gets a cut, he's top 5.
He's top 5. He's top 1, man. What are we talking about? He's top 1.
Maybe he'll go bald. We'll see. No, Tatum.
I'm in my 2020 Jayson Tatum era.
Oh, gotta love it. But we're excited for Jayson Tatum, and we already gave you guys our predictions, so it's coming up soon. I mean, we could totally, after this podcast, we could totally be having an emergency podcast at some point talking about Jayson Tatum's return. I mean,
no way, he's coming back on Sunday. No, I'm just kidding.
like, obviously, we'll get into the road ahead later, but listen to these games, and 2 of them are predicted. David predicted one of them, and everyone's speculating the 76ers game. But Brooklyn, then the 76ers, where it's a big circle around Bucks, and then obviously big circle around the Hornets too. That game that David predicted.
Are we going to talk about the other game that is being speculated as well?
What's the other game?
March 14th against the Washington Wizards.
St. Patty's Day. But also,
you want me to go into depth about this, or do
yeah, go.
Yeah, let's run it, dude.
So, March 14th is now being speculated because Jayson Tatum's first episode of his documentary was 3 minutes and 14 seconds. He had the opportunity right after he won the championship to sign a max contract extension for $315 million. He signed it for only $314 million. St. Louis's area code is 314.
Wow.
We play the Wizards at home on March 14th. I believe there would be about 15 to 18 games left in the regular season at that point. Just enough time, I think, for him to hit that cutoff to come back, in my opinion. So I am still going down with the March 4th ship, which is the one that I've been sticking with since the start. But we got to add another game to the Jayson Tatum watch.
Sounds pretty damn convincing to me.
Andrew, you want to take that one?
I mean, there's not much to say. I mean, I think it's very, very interesting, and I mean, yeah,
is that your prediction date now? Is that your prediction?
No, he's going with the shit. But I think
no.
Yeah,
for you.
For me?
Yeah.
No, I'd probably still say that March 1st date, but we'll see.
That's crazy to think Tatum could be back in
But to me, I will say Jayson Tatum does think like that. He does think in those.
You're right.
In those ways, you know what I mean? He's very calculated. He's got that Mamba mentality, mindset all the time. He likes to create a story in a vibe, in a sense, and I wouldn't put it past him to think in that way.
Hold on, I'm. What day did the Celtics win the championship on? Because I remember there was a thing that they won the championship at home in 2008.
June 17th, 617 day.
Yeah, and so
that's Boston's area code.
I mean, crazy things can happen like that. I mean, crazy. You saw it already with the championship. We're rambling, but it's just crazy to me that.
What we hope is that you guys are listening to this and your brains are going wild too, and you're thinking about it and wondering when Tatum's going to come back. And I think this conversation everyone's having around the world, so it's nice to be a part of and just be the fellas speculating, talking, enjoying this and shooting the shit. So this is good. I just can't even fathom the fact that next podcast we could be breaking news, like Tatum's back. Just gives me chills.
To honor Tatum coming back, if the next podcast we do, Tatum comes back, we got to do a 0-minute podcast. So we got to keep it under a minute. We got to get all it out in less than a minute to honor Jayson Tatum.
Whoa, that's a little crazy.
Who's that guy on ESPN that does that with under a minute? What's his name? He does he's a great dude. Got a very distinctive voice. but I don't know who it is.
Go JT. That's all we gotta say though. That's all we gotta do it. But next on the agenda, obviously we did a breaking news video about this, so go check that out after. But I want to hear your guys' opinion on this as well, because Delano Banton gets the 10-day contract. We got a little more time to kind of see where he's at. No John Tonji, which we'll get into in a little bit last night. But Delano Banton, they've been going to, played 6 minutes last night, and then in the other one against the Suns, only played like 2 minutes. But what do you guys see for Delano Banton? What do you think Celtics' whole mindset was? Because this is my perspective. I think, I thought we were going to get someone bigger off of the buyout market, but maybe they're trying to just go for this off season in particular to kind of build on, and they like what they have. They didn't want to make a lot of moves. And there wasn't really a guy that they're like, hey, let's bring on to the roster. So you look at Delano Banton. I think this is a guy where you bring him in because the Celtics have to do something. They have to bring in someone. And if it worked out, it worked out. But I don't know. I don't know how it feels. I still don't know how I feel about it. That's where I kind of was when I was filming the video. And I'm still kind of like, it's kind of a move where Celtics had to make something by that date. And then now you have Delano Banton on the roster. It's kind of like one where they felt comfortable with their roster before that, but they had to make something. But Andrew and David, if you guys wanted to say your thoughts, because we've yet to hear what you guys think about it. What do you think about Delano Banton? I mean, and do you think that this is a guy that you could see staying with the Celtics, or do you think after these 10 days he's back out?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say it necessarily pushes the needle too much for the Celtics roster. I think we have a pretty solid rotation so far into the season, and I don't see him necessarily cracking that rotation. He did just come from a 10-day with the Clippers, and we know these stats, but he averaged 6.7 points, shout out David, in 14.5 minutes. So, no, this is a combined throughout his entire career with the Raptors, Celtics, Blazers, Clippers. So it's a pretty good stat considering the amount of minutes he gets with it. So it's a pretty good sample size. And I just think that he's solid. I like his pace of play when he comes off the pick and roll. He obviously has size. He's a probably like 6'8", 6'9" point guard. And he can move the ball, and I think he could score at times. So I think this guy is good. But most of all, and I talked about on the recap a couple days ago, I really like just his presence on this roster. I like kind of where he's at. His head is his head is on his shoulders in the right spot, and he seems to just really enjoy this Celtics team, and the guys enjoy him. And I think when you come into a season at a certain point, that chemistry and that kind of camaraderie for a team can be important at times. So I don't mind Delano Banton. I just don't know if he's going to crack the rotation. But I wouldn't mind giving him a little contract, like a year contract, short minimum, and just have him on the roster, and maybe he wins a championship with us.
So it's always good to welcome back members of championship teams, even if it's just only probably going to be for 10 days with Delano Banton. I don't personally foresee this going anywhere. I think after the 10 days, we're just going to go our separate ways. I mean, I'm happy that this gives Banton a little bit of a chance, if anything, to showcase his skills again, to potentially get a future NBA opportunity with another team. But the theory I've been seeing go around online is that we just strictly signed him and Tonji to 10-day contracts to fill up the necessary roster spots we needed by that deadline date last week. And we are trying to avoid dipping into that luxury tax as much as possible, because I wish I had had this article up with me right now. I read it last week, where we're just trying to avoid getting into that luxury tax for as long as possible. But the expectation is that once these two guys are relieved of their 10-day contracts, we should be offering a standardized contract to Ron Harper Jr. I think it's just more of like a financial play right now. It's good to see these guys get some run at the end of the games, like Ban has been getting, and Tanji made his debut, I believe, against Phoenix with the Celtics. So I'm not expecting too much from them. I think this is just, for lack of a better term, two guys filling up a couple roster spots, but the big domino will fall once their 10 days are up, which I think is rather soon. And I would expect Ron Harper to get that standardized contract.
Yeah, and that's one thing we'll go into soon about the Ron Harper Jr. speculations. And I think we hit Delano Banton pretty well. I think this is a guy that more so is here to showcase his skills. I think with Delano Banton, I think this is a guy where the Celtics wanted to see what they could get with him. Like maybe if he did something well, maybe they were like, all right, we give him a deal. But I just haven't seen much from him. And I just think this is a guy who I would love to see on a team like the Clippers or something where he gets time, or one of those teams that's tanking. And, you look at the Jazz, or you look at the Pacers. I really wouldn't mind Delano Banton going into one of those teams and showcasing his skills, but realistically, the Celtics are just showing too much fight, and he's not going to get the time he needs here. So I kind of see that 10-day contract, give it to him, but didn't really get a lot of time to showcase his skills. Do you guys have anything else on Delano Banton, though?
No, I just think I agree with David probably with where the Celtics team is at and signing Banton and Tanji more as a strategic from a strategic position to just stay under that cap, like you said, and yeah. So Brad Stevens he's a smart dude, and I wouldn't doubt that's what he's trying to do. And in the meantime, he was able to give, like David said, Delano Banton an opportunity to potentially give other teams the wherewithal of what he's capable of.
Do you got anything else for us, though, David, on Delano Banton?
No, I mean, just happy to see him get another chance. I would not have put that on my bingo card of all the people we needed to fill roster spots that it would have been banned. But, I like the energy he brought us in that first half when he came in, and specifically in the second half of that 2024 championship season. I thought it was good that Portland gave him an opportunity there, so I hope he gets another spot.
No, without a doubt. But next up on the list, John Tanji. Now, I want to ask, because I know, David, you're good with knowing these stuff. David always knows the random facts. So would it be possible, like, because I know after, if John Tanji, like, after we don't give him anything else, I know he would default to the main Celtics roster, but would he just go back to the two-way position, or would we have to give him another two-way contract? If someone could do their research really quick to look at this.
So if we just so I understand your question, if we let the 10-day contract expire with Tanji,
he would not go back to a two-way. We'd just have to re-sign him to a two-way contract, correct? If you want to look that up, David. All right, and Andrew, while he's doing that, do you want to talk about John Tanji and your thoughts of this acquisition? Because I'll save mine for after, but what are your thoughts?
No, I really like John Tanji. He's been averaging probably 18.5 points a game between the SLC Stars and the main Celtics. And to me, he's got good size on him. He's a pretty headsy player, very smart, and he can knock down the three ball. So to me, he's a guy that's very capable, and I wouldn't have mind seeing him on the Celtics roster. So while David's doing this research, I actually really do hope that we do find a way to keep him within this organization, continue to develop him, and kind of see where we can utilize him down the line. I really like this guy. I really do.
Yeah. Do you have it for us?
According to Google here, potentially Google Gemini, so AI on the helping out here. If an NBA player does not get another 10-day contract after their first or second one expires, they become an unrestricted free agent, allowed to sign with any team. they are not subject to waivers, so they can sign a rest of season deal elsewhere, return overseas, or look for an opportunity in the G League. So it's up to Tanji what he wants to do.
So also could return to the main Celtics, I feel like. So
yeah,
if he wants to. It's up to him completely.
I think we sign him back to a two-way contract. I think I like that kind of move for the Celtics. I think either that or sign him to a 2-year deal. I wouldn't mind that because I'm a big fan of Tanji. Like I really like Tanji, and I feel like especially last night, like I feel like they have more trust in Tanji than they do Delano Banton. Because I look at Tanji and he was killing it for the main Celtics, had 29 points at the game that Daniel and I went to. But on top of that too, they didn't play him last night, and they've been very strategic about playing him. So I feel like he's more a guy where they have more trust in, and they're more willing to give a contract to Tanji rather than a Delano Banton. Like I feel like last night they kind of gave Delano Banton, as you mentioned, David, that those times to kind of showcase his talents to other teams. But with John Tanji, it's like, they know what they got, and maybe he's on the mix of getting either a contract or going back with a two-way contract. But what are your thoughts on this, though, David?
Yeah, I'm just trying to look up some other things too with like roster construction, and the Celtics right now have 16 people in their bucket of players, and I think it's 14 active roster players, and then is it Shulga and Ron Harper, the two-ways?
Yep.
So we have an open two-way spot, and 100% I could see that being Tanji. I mean, we traded for this guy. Like obviously Brad Stevens sees something in him.
right.
We wouldn't trade for him for no reason. So I think there's absolutely a path for him to stay with the Celtics in some capacity for sure. I wouldn't hate seeing that as well. I don't know a ton about the guy, but in those few minutes I saw him play against Phoenix, it looked like, he was a guy who played with some good hustle, pretty good frame, as like a lanky kind of wing with some height that can maybe disrupt a little bit defensively. So I'm 100% open to keeping him around for sure. And that's why Brad Stevens keeps that open spot. It's just, having flexibility in the roster one way or another. So I think there's absolutely a path for him to stay in some sort of capacity.
Yeah, and this really comes down to it, and I think we can get into this now and kind of go there. It really depends on Ron Harper and what we do with him.
I have a couple more things to say.
Oh, my bad. I did want to jump ahead. My bad.
No, you're good. You're good. I'm even looking at this like from the perspective of two-way positions because I was looking back, and for a while, at least the first couple of years, the Celtics keep a full two-way position, all three of the spots, because last year, after waiving Anton Watson, they signed Miles Norris to a two-way contract to just fill that hole, all three of them. Do you guys, it's just a question because I noticed Keon Johnson came back last night for the main Celtics. I think it could either go to Tanji or Keon Johnson. I don't know if you guys, I know I'm very high on Keon Johnson because I like what he can provide, but it looks like it would be interesting having three guards at two-way positions, but I wouldn't mind it. I think either a John Tanji or a Keon Johnson, but we go around. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, I know I jumped the gun, but I still do think it matters, like what they do with Ron Harper for sure.
Yeah,
and I think Keon Johnson is a more so proven guy in the NBA, and he had a nice little stint with the Brooklyn Nets, making a pretty solid impact. He's a capable scorer. He can defend pretty well. So, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind either way. I think, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind either way, to be honest. And do you know how he did last night? Do you know what he scored?
There's 40 seconds of film of him. Let me go look it up while David's saying what he thinks about Keon Johnson. Let me go look it up.
41 seconds, Griffin.
Well, there was 40 seconds of film that was posted. But let me go look it up. What do you think?
40 seconds. That's pretty good. That sounds good to me.
I completely forgot about the whole Keon Johnson experience before that was brought up, Griffin. I am all for Keon Johnson getting elevated, just for the sheer fact of, like you talked about, Andrew, we have a guy who has NBA experience, a whole season of NBA experience basically underneath his belt last season. He played 79 games for Brooklyn. He played 25 minutes a night, averaging
He averaged like 10.
Yeah,
Yeah.
10 points.
Yeah.
10.6 points per game, just under 39% from the field, and just over 31% from deep. So, we're kind of splitting hairs at this point because we're talking about like the 16th and 17th people on the finalized playoff roster for the Celtics, a team that, is expected to hopefully make another deep run in the playoffs. But I want as many NBA proven talent people, 1 through 17, on my roster. And I think a guy like Tanji could become that at some point. It seems like the way that they were talking about him at the end of the broadcast on the Phoenix game, that he has a lot of potential, but potential versus reality is something that needs to be put into play. And we know what just a year ago Keon Johnson could do. And obviously he's been, trying to figure things out in Maine for the better part of this season, ever since we acquired him. But that is an interesting one that I completely forgot about. I'm all for elevating Keon Johnson in some way.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't, and you make a good point with having that NBA experience. And we are splitting hairs in some ways with the 16th and 17th roster spot. But I will say, just a couple of years ago in our playoff run, a guy like Xavier Tillman is knocking down huge shots. I mean, there's so many different guys that were making impact. I mean, you have Torrey Craig every once in a while getting a couple minutes here and there and being a little disruptive. I mean, when you get into this latter half of the season, it's all hands on deck. You don't know who's going to be ready for the playoffs. A guy like Shireman, or I don't want to just use Shireman because I picked on him a little here and there and he's playing phenomenal, but a guy like Sam Hauser might hit a cold streak, right? There's so many variables that go into a NBA playoffs where you want to have as many guys in your arsenal that could potentially make an impact and help you win a championship.
Yeah, because last night he had 10 points, 3 rebounds, only played 18 minutes. I think he was on a minutes restriction because he's been out. Geez, Andrew, we were trying to interview him one day. He's been out for the whole season practically. So, but I look at him as well, and I don't know how it would work when it comes to playoffs, but I feel like even if you signed him to a 2-way contract this late in the season too, playoff wise, you could have him play a lot because he hasn't used up a lot of that NBA time.
True.
I don't know if it's you have to play like a certain amount of games in the G League, then NBA, or if you could just play a bunch of minutes in the NBA. But that could be a guy that they could even insert and you have him on a 2-way. So who knows? I like Keon Johnson, but anyone else want to add anything onto that? All right, Andrew, you could click it now. I'm gonna let you.
Yes. I thought it was a nice segue, but I realized I cut you off, and I was
no. You're good. It was a great segue though. But as Andrew has mentioned, as David even alluded to earlier in the podcast, Ron Harper Jr. And can I say something really quick? Because I've been talking about this, and I had a whole conversation with our biggest fan, the Ron Harper Jr. fan page. I said the other night, I feel like the whole reason for Ron Harper Jr. and the reason he hasn't got like a 10-day contract or stuff is because the Celtics have so much trust in him. And that's why he's been playing 30 minutes against Phoenix Suns and like 11 or 12 minutes last night against let me check completely, but had 11 minutes against the Nuggets last night and came in early in that game. I mean, the Celtics have trust in him, and they're not just going to throw him a 10-day contract because after a 10-day contract, you're out on your ass pretty much. That's essentially what it is. But with Ron Harper Jr., I feel like they're trying to see, all right, is this actually going to work? Because I think they could be planning a 2-3 year deal with Ron Harper Jr. Like, I think that's one that could totally happen. But Andrew, you take it away, and then we'll go to David.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to go I mean, I think we all have a pretty good consensus on what we want to do with Ron Harper Jr. I've said it. We all know it. We saw it against Kevin Durant when he held him to pretty low scoring night. He is a really good defender, in my opinion. He has a lot of length. He seems to really keep guys in front of him, contest the shots, and has a motor. I love this guy. Going to that game and sitting baseline and taking photos, super grateful for that opportunity. But what stood out to me the most, if I'm being honest, was watching Ron Harper Jr. leading his guys and engaging on the defensive end and talking, pointing guys in the right direction. That's what kind of guy you're bringing onto this team. And that's a leader. It's a guy that's willing to sacrifice himself for the greater good of the team. And I'm really high on Ron Harper Jr. Just simply not just as a player, but simply as a who he is as a human being. And that's someone you want on your team, and that's someone you want to sustain the Celtics culture.
Well, I was just trying to look up some Ron Harper Jr. stats, and before I even get to the stats, he was born one day after me. He's 1 year older than me, but his birthday is one day after me. So I already love him even more. He's a fellow. Other than, I mean, yeah, you hit the nail on the head there, Andrew. I think I don't want to compare him to Phil Pressey when Phil Pressey was on the Celtics, but I'm gonna compare him to O'Shea Brissett in ways from last year. Just a guy who can bring energy off the bench, provide a spark, maybe even like a Peyton Pritchard in his younger days, where just a guy that has the potential to come off the bench, do the nitty gritty stuff, not necessarily light up the stat sheet, but just provide a spark. I'm just so impressed with how amazing he is, not just at rebounding as a guard, but offensive rebounding. Like, he has such a knack for where the ball is going to be as soon as it hits off the rim. And he's taking, I haven't had a single issue with any shot he's taken, albeit it's mostly been 3-point shots, but I've had no issues with any of the shots he's taken. He just seems like the stereotypical, consummate professional, willing to do whatever it takes to win that Missoula loves. And I have no doubt that this moment is coming where he's getting a contract, and I'm just really impressed with him. Like, it's nothing that's wowing me. It's just what the Celtics need, and he's giving it his all in the minutes he's getting from us.
And I think you make a really valid point when you say it's something that wows you, right? He's just doing the right things. And at this stage in his career and at this stage where the Celtics are at, that's what they need. And so he's delivering. And I also want to say, too, the way he carries himself in press conferences, I've saw a couple times, the way he answers these questions, he just is very professional. And I think it speaks volumes on his experience in the NBA, right? His dad was an NBA professional, won multiple championships, and is I believe, a Hall of Famer, right? Like, being around that and surrounding yourself with that energy from a very young age, it obviously exudes and it rubs off you in a positive way. So having a guy like Ron Harper Jr. who has that experience, has a father who has, had a journey throughout the NBA, I think that's another thing you would want to invest in.
Yeah. The only turnoff to me, and I just think he's in just a little bit of a slump. But I know from watching him in Maine last year and this year that he can pop off. Like, there are times in the game where we know firsthand, Andrew, because we see Ron Harper Jr. all the time in the G League. I mean, he gets the ball. He needs to take a lot of shots. He doesn't need to. He could be a spark.
I was going to say, do you think he's a volume scorer?
But he can be a spark plug as well, because you saw it against the Rockets. But last night was only 1 for 7, shot 14.3%. Rough night last night. Only got that 3-pointer kind of in garbage time as well. But you look at the Phoenix Suns game too. He kind of turned it around later in the game. But shot 30%, was 3 for 10. But I still look at Ron Harper Jr. and I know that he's that guy that the Celtics can totally go to. Like, he's a guy that if you need a big three, he could totally provide you a big three. I don't have any doubt in that in my mind. I think the past few nights, I feel like he's even been under a lot of stress the past few nights because these are times where they're constantly looking at him because I bet there's even conversations behind the scenes like, hey, we gave these guys 2 10-day contracts. We want to see what you could bring to the team these next couple of days, and
True.
we could potentially be giving you a 3-year, 2-year deal. Like, I think it's a lot of pressure on him, but and I think he turned the Phoenix Suns game around too. I think, at first it was like, "Oh, he keeps missing," but then you looked at it, he was doing other things to affect the game too, so he made up for it. But do you guys have anything you want to add on to that?
I mean, no. I mean, hopefully, I will say he does take a lot of shots in the G League, right? So he is, in some ways, in the G League a volume scorer. I think he still can knock down the open shot. I don't disagree. I will say right now he's shooting 26.2% from beyond the arc. So that is something that does need to improve, and it's a smaller sample size, and he is still getting acclimated to this NBA lifestyle and being up with the Celtics, but he's got to improve on that 100% because that's something that we need from him, and that's something that the Celtics are bringing him on for, right? So I don't want to get too high on the horse and be like, oh, Ron Harper's that guy, he's that guy. But I think he is very, very capable, and I think the Celtics are just waiting a little longer to see a little more of a sample size of what he can bring to the table. And I think once they see him have a couple consistent nights, I would not be surprised if they pull this trigger and sign him to a multi-year deal.
And before you go, David, I think the game to bank on coming up, I know we're going to get into the road ahead, but is that Brooklyn Nets game. I think that's one where, 15, I believe they're at 15 wins on the season. That's a game where Ron Harper Jr. should get a lot of run in that game. So I look at that one, and that's one where, I think there's still something to prove before he gets his contract, but I have no doubt in my mind that he's going to get a contract. He just needs to prove a little bit more.
Just a little. I mean, very marginally, marginally. And I will say, Brooklyn Nets, I'd like to see him play well against them, but I just like to see him play. We got the 76ers coming up, and I don't want to go road ahead, but we got the Bucks and got the Hornets. All these teams have been on a decent they've been playing decently. I just want to see him make an impact off the bench and contribute to winning in any way possible. And he has been doing that. Don't get me wrong. He has been doing that. I just want to see it a little more consistent and maybe hitting he's 0.8 3 per hit on threes made. So just a little, 1 to 2 threes a game and just bringing that spark. That's all I want to see. Very, very small.
Without a doubt. What do you have there for us, David?
No, I mean, I'm just going to echo what you guys are saying. I think it's a formality at this point that Harper is going to be getting the contract. I mean, he's played in 14 games for us this season. He's gotten the most run of any of our G League guys. I mean, obviously Amari Williams was awarded with the contract, but I don't think he's played in as many games as Harper has this season. So I think this is just a very long audition for Ron Harper to make the active roster, but I feel like they made up their decision weeks ago. But I think, it should be a happy time in the Harper family coming up very soon.
No, I agree. And I've been, it's like the wisdom of the crowd, right? Like there's enough of people across the NBA within the Celtics organization that really, really like Ron Harper and what he's capable of, right? And I think that's probably has seeped into the brains of the Celtics organization, and it's clear that Ron Harper is wanted on the Celtics team.
No, well said, you guys. We could very much so next time we're on be talking about Ron Harper Jr. getting a contract.
I hope so, man. I really hope so. I want the best for that dude. I really do.
I do too.
What's his number again? I'm so sorry.
What's 13. 13.
when Ron Harper Jr. gets a standard contract, we'll make a 13-minute breaking news video.
There you go. There you go.
I love it. I love it. But the road ahead. Obviously, we've been talking about it throughout the podcast, but because Tatum might be back for one of these games. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Obviously, just speculations, no confirmed. But I have to say the most confirmed is either the 76ers or the Hornets, because inside you got inside source from David.
And it's a win-win even if he comes back against the 76ers, because what's 76 backwards?
That gets
isn't there a 67 team or whatever somewhere, like overseas?
I'm sure.
That I don't know, but
it's the 66ers, I know that, but maybe I don't know about the 67ers. That doesn't really roll off the tongue very well, I'm not gonna lie.
67.
They're gonna be selling out tickets.
Yeah, to like middle schoolers.
David will be.
They're gonna have to sell them for like $5 to middle schoolers. I don't know if that's gonna
$6
work.
or $7.
Can we get some beeps? Can we get some beeps? He overused.
No. We're not doing Maslow dog training on David.
I'm injured.
He's injured too, right? I mean, that's a little harsh. That's a little cruel and unusual punishment, man.
It's all love. It's all love. But the road ahead. The Brooklyn Nets, we see them on Friday. Then next, you see the Philadelphia 76ers, the Milwaukee Bucks, and you round it out with the Charlotte Hornets. But in these 4 games, what do you have the Celtics being? Andrew, we'll start off with you.
Honestly, I don't know if my track record on this has been too hot. I'm not going to lie. But I think 3-1. I do. I think 3-1. I think you get the Brooklyn Nets. They're struggling. They're last place. You better win this game. And I'd be a fool to bet against the Celtics in this game. So obviously got to go Nets.
I don't know.
I mean, Celtics.
Daniel was talking last night. He's like, I'm sick and tired of these double overtime games against the Brooklyn Nets. So that could be a game.
I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it. But I hear what you're saying for sure. But like I said, you'd be a fool to say they're going to lose to the Nets.
Yeah.
76ers 2-3 in their last 5. I'm gonna go. We get the 76ers. I still think they got some things to figure out, and they're kind of, they got pieces here and there, but I still think that we are a lot more solidified, a solidified team that has things moving in a positive direction. There's a lot of momentum with the Celtics team, so I think we get that win. Bucks, this game I think is going to be this could be a close one. The Bucks, they're on a little hot streak right now. 4-1 last 5 games. They beat teams they beat OKC, right? So I mean that's a staple win for them so far this season. I'm a little more hesitant on that one, and I don't want to. I feel like they could lose that one, but so I'm gonna maybe I'll give them the Bucks. Maybe I'll give Bucks that game. Bucks that game, and then Hornets. I say we get.
All right, what do you got for us, David?
I think this is the first time I'm going to do this on this program, but I am swinging for the fences. I'm saying 4-0.
Yeah,
we should beat the Nets. We always say should beat them. Is it crazy to say that playing the Nets, the 14th place Nets at 15-42 is a trap game? I mean, given how embarrassing that game was against them in November.
It is.
I mean, we should be able to.
Really is.
But
these games matter. These games matter because it tells you where a team's at. Like, are you going to play down to this team, or are you going to put the foot on the pedal and just go out and smack them, have the lead the entire game, and have a sea of green? These games do matter, right? And I don't want to just blow past it, and but I also don't want to give it too much attention, but they matter.
Well, and we always embarrass ourselves against Brooklyn, not in Brooklyn, but always at home. Like Missoula's first season, we blew a 28-point lead on Tatum's birthday to Brooklyn. Earlier this year in November, like I said, obviously that was a very, very bad loss. I believe it was Steve Carell, the one and only Michael Scott from The Office, in attendance. I mean, how could you do that? So I think we should win. And, you don't want it to snowball and be a 2-game losing streak. You just get back on track. we absolutely should win. What am I saying? So yeah, we'll win that one.
We will win. We will win.
Sixers is going to be absolute cinema. I mean, it always is between the Celtics and Philly and regular season matchups. So should be able to win that one as well. That one's probably going to be a little bit trickier, given that the Sixers are in the thick of the playoff mix right now. And then the Bucks and the Hornets. I'd like to think that we can beat the Bucks. Obviously, they had our number, I think, a couple months ago in Milwaukee. Where
we're 1-1, serious split right now. So, but that is a good. And I actually am looking at my notes, and I was like, wait, I said they're gonna potentially lose to the Hornets, not the Bucks, because the Bucks are on a 4-1 last 5 games. So I'd assume that they're gonna kind of even out a little more. So I actually meant the Hornets, but sorry, David.
No, you're good. So. Yeah, I mean, the Bucks had our number in that game earlier this year where we couldn't hit a shot and they couldn't miss a shot at the end. So they got the best of us down in Wisconsin, but we should be able to win that one, I feel like. And then I'm sticking to it. Jayson Tatum night against the Hornets on March 4th. I mean, that would be incredible if the stars align for this. However, the game, I'm going to put this out here as well. The game Jayson Tatum comes back, whatever game that is, I hope it's March 4th. I think it'll be March 4th. It's going to be a trap game that has trap game written all over it.
Yeah.
All the momentum for the Celtics. You have your perennial all-star, one of the best players coming back. Like, I feel like that's a game where, you think it's almost a guaranteed W and it turns into an L. So if this happens, I honestly think this could be a close game if Tatum comes back. I think it could come down to the wire. I feel like the Hornets always usually give us a run for our money. That home series we had against them last year with Grant Williams, I mean, I think both those games came down to the wire. The Celtics won both of them. The year before in Charlotte, we blew like a 21-point lead. So, I wouldn't underestimate Charlotte. They're another one of these like gritty teams like Brooklyn and Atlanta who always just give the Celtics.
You got a lot of firepower. You don't know what they could give you.
So
I don't,
I'm not one to. But it's no foregone conclusion if we get Tatum back for that Charlotte game, we're going to win. We have to go out and do it. But I'm going 4-0 for the first time, I believe, this season.
Griffin, before you go, I'm not one to be like negative and look in the future in a bad way, but I could totally see it. I could see the Celtics, they play the Hornets, and Tatum comes back and they have an abysmal performance. It looks like nothing's working. They're playing together. Tatum isn't finding any rhythm. He's messing up the flow of the team, right? And shit hits the fan. And then the next morning you have Stephen A. and all these ESPN broadcasters coming at you, creating the narrative. Well, Tatum should not have come back. I mean, it's too early for him to come back. He's gonna ruin this team. The momentum's going. It's trending negative. Like, I could see that too, but let's knock on wood and hope that doesn't happen. And if it does happen, I will be the first person to defend the Celtics team, defend Tatum, and say, hey, guess what? It's going to take a little time.
No, without doubt. Damn, Andrew, that was very negative for a second. I'm going 4-0 too. I think if you do lose one, I'm so mad at you guys that you guys all went Hornets, because I'm like, think to myself on my bingo card, I'm like, oh, this is going to be a hot take. But no, you guys all said they do lose, it's going to be Hornets. But I agree. I think if they lose, it'll be Hornets. Or I feel like the 76er one could be a trap too. There are 3 games. I think you definitely win to the Bucks. I say you win all 4 of them. That's what I'm going with. I'm smashing them.
I mean, yeah. If you were to, I don't bet, but if I was to bet, like you would definitely put that money on these 4 games and think about that. Like I agree, but for being realistic, that Hornets team is not bad. Like, no, they're not a bad team.
I said that at the beginning of the season, and Marty the Meat Man, and like when we were doing this, everyone thought I was crazy, and he said, "Listen, I stuck with it. I had a weird feeling when the Pistons were gonna be good. I said, it's a team full of role players. Like, they're gonna be good this season. They started being good, and now look where they're at. Like, I mentioned that with the Pistons, and I don't know how far I am with the Hornets. I don't know if they can become a Pistons team, but they're going to be good. They have a bright future ahead of
They're a
them.
couple pieces away, and they're a fun team to watch. I mean, when you tune into the broadcast, you got a freaking phenomenal announcer. I mean, one of the best in the business, Eric Collins. I mean, he's awesome. And they got a lot of energy behind them. Like it's buzzing over there right now. The Hornets are buzzing right now.
Pun intended.
Pun intended. Like the Hornets are buzzing over there, and I love North Carolina, man. I love Charlotte. I like the vibe over there too. So I think there's a lot of energy, and as I said previously, it's trending in the right direction for that team. And I think any small market team that's finding a way to make a dent in the NBA and win games, I'm all here for it. So very, very nice to see this team and where they're at. And you have Con Knipple, man. Whew, he is tough. He's fundamental, Mr. Fundamental, and he just does all the right things.
He is.
Another Duke product. I mean,
I
at some point we got to be, I mean, we already are, but Duke, man, they produce.
They do. So I'm going 4-0 though. I think there's a couple games. Obviously, the Nets can give you some trouble at times. I think all of these games, like, I don't expect huge blowouts, a lot of it, but I'm excited for some Celtics basketball. And again, you guys, we could be talking about Jayson Tatum coming back next podcast, or maybe even a Ron Harper Junior contract. We'll let you guys know. But with that,
can't wait to see it, Jayson Tatum.
Yeah,
heave.
We did it.
Funny enough, I used that GIF last night, and I said to someone after I worked from 11 to 3:30 at night. I used that GIF. I said, "We did it!" when I finished finally. So it's that everyone can hate on that one, but man, we did it.
What are they gonna say now?
What they gonna say now, man?
Hope everyone enjoyed not episode 88, but episode Namias Kata.
Yes. Also, I hope everyone's okay with the blizzard and the snowstorm and wherever you're at. I know a lot of people got hit pretty hard, so stay safe out there. It's pretty sunny out right now. It's actually really, really nice out, so go take advantage of it. We're almost there. I say it all the time, though. That damn groundhog, man. I don't like that guy. He never gets it right.
All right.
At this point, he's a straight troll. He's a straight troll. Man.
All right. Before the owners of Punxsutawney Phil come at us, I do want to see Punxsutawney Phil someday, so I could give him a taste of my mind as well. All right. Geez, I'm
what
starting.
Does that mean? Wait, what do you mean what are you gonna do to him?
Whoa. Time out. I'm saying I'm telling him, Mr. Groundhog, listen, you always messed up, man. I'm done. All right. With that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe and turn on post notifications to be notified every time we upload. And we will see you guys with the next one. Subscribe. Peace, you guys.
Peace.
See you.